Let's get this party started. All right. Hey, let's start off this Bitcoin and altcoin stream with smashing the likes. Not for sure if that's going to help anything, but let's figure that out. Got to help out your content creator as much as possible, but I'm going to help you out as well. I just got off a video call with my Discord, actually both tiers, and I was late for them, so I had to be late for you as well. I had to... The lateness just kind of transferred over to YouTube. I apologize, but I always give you double the hours anyway than what you expect, or what I promise, I guess. not Dow. Stocks right now are absolutely leading the crypto market. There are a few ways to think about traditional finance's connection to Bitcoin, or just how it's going to lead Bitcoin. Traditional markets right now are absolutely whipping Bitcoin around. I mean, or just dragging it as if it were walking a dog. That's roughly what's happening right now on particularly the lower time frames. The correlation, it gets sloppier with the higher time frame you go, like daily and weekly and monthly. For example, during our Wyckoff stuff of May and June through July 2021, stock market was racing to all-time highs as Bitcoin went down like 65%. So there are some moments on the larger time frames where particularly the correlation is sloppier. But on a minute-to-minute, 1 minute candle, all that type of basis, it definitely walks Bitcoin around like a dog. Hopefully everybody understands this by now. The main question right now is that how will the market react to particularly Jerome Powell approaching, or just he's tapping the brakes on his, it's not necessarily policy, but his approach, right? He's tapping the brakes a little bit. So here are the questions that I have around that. It will affect crypto, and it will be the major driver, right? Like what Jerome Powell does. As unfortunate as that is, it's true. So here are the questions you should be asking yourself. When is the next, high impact economic data coming out? And to know that, you really should use things such as forexfactory.com, which is right behind me. See it right. forexfactory.com. Some cool shit like this behind me. I'm at my screen. All right. And so the next biggest one, I believe, is on around 13th through 15th of December. The second question you should ask yourself is, why is my computer frozen? I can't unclick up the. I still can't. Wow. I wonder if I'm even streaming. Son of a. There it goes. All right. I don't know if I got disconnected. Man. I need to try that again. Okay. As stocks are clearly walking Bitcoin around like a dog, and Jerome Powell just tapped the brakes on his, approach or policy. It's not policy, but approach. The next big date for economic activity to, confirm any continuation move as opposed to sideways choppy action. The next big economic data to further propel whatever move is happening now is around the middle of December. 13th, 14th, 15th, I think there are a few dates in there, right? 13th through the 15th. And again, you can use things like forexfactory.com to map that out. So here are the questions you need to ask yourself. Now that we know Bitcoin is being walked like a dog, not that that's bad, but it's being managed or moved by the stock market. Jerome Powell is moving the stock market. Therefore, Jerome Powell is moving Bitcoin. Jerome Powell just hit the brakes. The next economic data comes out mid-December. Now, all that together, are the markets going to see more incentive or lack of incentive to buy or sell confidently until the 13th through 15th? So is price just going to flop around near these local highs? That's actually a pretty good guess. Or how will the market react? Will the market react to, they feel that the big bad days, or just the market in general, particularly traditional finance, do days, so the big days and all the retail days and just amateur days, everybody, do all the days want a license to continue to party? You gotta fight for your right to rally. One of those, like Beastie Boys mode, like, let's do it, man. Okay, that could happen as well. And that would easily get Bitcoin to 19K. Yeah, it would probably get it to 19K. And that would be your Santa Claus rally. Okay, so that would be running from now till the 13th, and maybe it'll hesitate around the 10th, go sideways just for a little bit to wait for confirmation. Are we going the right way? And then, so on the 10th, they start asking themselves that. We rally for 10 days from now till then. Then they say, hey, maybe we should wait till the economic data before we push it any higher. And then it comes out good, like where he hits the brakes even harder. Core CPI and all that stuff says, hey, Jerome Powell, your shit is slowing down the market just like you wanted. It's bringing down inflation at the pace you wanted to attempt to have a smooth landing, right? And so if we rally first and then those numbers come out, I mean, shit's going to go. I mean, that honestly could be the bottom for Bitcoin. I don't think the stock market. I just think that the stock market would race somewhere closer to all-time highs and then go down in 2023 late. It'd be a pretty big rally, but it'd probably be the end for Bitcoin. So what's happening here, there are a few different conceptual ideas what could happen, and no one knows which one it'll be, right? So now we're going to put what I just said from, I guess, the national / global, national perspective, and we're going to throw that on the chart so you can see it with, I guess, lines, and you're going to see that. So let's dive into that. Let's go get some Bitcoin. I'm still on the Phantom chart. For some reason, I'm guessing it's going to go to 28 to 29 cents before it slows down. Anyway, we're on Bitcoin. If you're just hopping on, now's the time to hit smash like and make sure, take a quick moment as I'm setting up my chart here for you. Take a quick moment to double check that you have all alerts on. I think it's actually a high percentage. Only about 28% of my subs have the all alerts on. And I just explained to you all the stuff that's happening. It's going to have a strong pivot. We just don't know when. So if you don't have the alerts on, and I'm, and I try to alert everybody on YouTube, you're not going to get it. So make sure you hit that. All right. Macro trend line. The way I'm looking at Bitcoin is extremely simple right now on the micro time frames. If you're new to my channel and you don't know the context of this, hey, what does price look back here? If you zoom out, what are you going to see? I've covered that so much on my channel that I think right now I'm not going to necessarily go back through it all, but a super, super duper quick visual without boring my returning viewers is we are in a macro channel. Let's take off the origin lines too. Ooh. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that screen before. Take off the origin lines. We don't need those on this chart. Okay, 69K top. Boom. I guess I can get rid of this for now. And already had a bull trap, fell through all the way to the bottom. Had a bull trap, fell through, has not made it to the bottom or even the point of control yet. We're actually re-entering after falling out of this purple section, just like this or here. It's more like here, and it bounced from this green line and is getting potentially rejected here. You see that? So perhaps, I guess it technically hasn't done it yet, because here it got rejected. Here it got rejected. Here rejected. Here rejected. Here rejected. Here rejected. Two bull traps went straight through. Bull trap went straight through. This is the first time it's actually come back to it to get rejected. So that's what's happened on the macro scale. We are entering the bull trap zone since the 69K top. Like, this is macro shit. All right, not super macro, not, you know, decade macro, or even multi-year macro, but it's a year macro. All right, so I'm gonna take that off though. Just realize that is what's happening around this micro analysis. Okay, on top of that large analysis is a Bitcoin bottom will, or has, and likely always will occur where you have structure looking left. When Bitcoin was way up here, and I finally realized, it might have been over here. And I finally realized, you know what? The bull market's over. I targeted 16,400 as my absolute favorite number for a bottom for Bitcoin. Before FTX happened, before Luna, everything, based off this structure. So now that price is down here, I already knew that this was my favorite target. And so I'm putting this horizontal here. I'm not thinking that it's, you know, a bottom, because obviously price is under it, but what price is doing is, I guess that's a little higher than 16. Nope, this is just above it. But it's the same, it's the same structure. I apologize. 16.4 should be the bottom wick. Yeah, right there. I thought Bitcoin would wick down to here and then close candles right at the 20K mark. That's what I thought would happen way back when Bitcoin was like at $45 or $45,000. I thought it was going to go floom and close a week up here. All right. So now look at how I have this structure. I have it from so on this. This is where Bitcoin is. It's in this. It's in the structure. This is what's holding it price, literally. Like, if you don't realize that this is what's happening. So this is November. So this is when Bitcoin was getting ready to break out of the 2017 market cycle high. It came up to just under 20K, did not break, did not set an all-time high, got really close. I think it did on a couple exchanges. And then it pulled back and then raced up, right? And during this time, I won a 4-year standing $500 bet, but he never paid me. I'm really surprised he didn't pay me too. Yeah, I bet somebody in 2017 that before January 1st, 2021, that Bitcoin would be above 20K. I literally had that bet from way back when, because it was the top, right? I said, nope, it'll get the top before that date, and it barely happened. But right around the new year, Bitcoin went like to 32K. It's crazy. Anyway, so that is what is on this chart right here. I will go ahead and superimpose this box so we can have it on the micro time frames, and then what you're about to see is the stuff that you need on your chart. Oop, now I need the origin line back on. To essentially get price right at any moment. I'm telling you, like, the charts are clear right now. If you take a quick minute to do this stuff. Here, let me go to a smaller time frame. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a micro channel that's flashing. See that? We have a macro horizontal. We have an origin line. You don't need all of them. We just have one. And we have the weekly, let me take it off. And we have the weekly 10 EMA that is flashing right now. These are, I promise you, for the next, until it leaves this area, this is probably all you need to have an edge for any action at any moment. I mean, the chart is looking really clear right now, and let me break it down why. Simply looking at the weekly 10, so if we can only use this one tool, which honestly, if you only had one tool, this is the tool I would use. At any, like, bear market, bull market, doesn't matter. I would just use candles, which is not a tool, it's price, but I would use the weekly 10. So at any moment, if you have too much separation from the weekly 10, it sucks price back to it, both ways. If you get too far above it, it's bad. You're going to get sucked back to it. The same thing happens when you go down here. Do you always hit it? No, but you get sucked back. Too much separation, sucked back. A little bit too much separation, sucked back. There, sucked back slowly. Here, what's happening? Sucked back. Sometimes it hits it, sometimes it goes above it, sometimes it comes up shy. Those are your three options. So keep that in mind. This is layer one of the analysis short term, and I'm telling you it's going to help you so much. So I do this with the MTF EMA. There are multiple versions of it. YouTube tier, YouTube curtailing tier, and Discord. I've already posted multiple ways to do it. MTF EMA indicator, so you can be on the 1 hour chart to see the weekly 10. That's what this is. That's tool number one. That's the concept behind it. Tool number two layered on. So that's what we got sucked back in. That's the only feeling you need, right? We had a lot of separation and you're getting sucked back. There are only 3 ways you get sucked back. You come up shy. So you got to remember this stuff. You either come up shy, you go exactly to it, or you fail your pattern above, fake out, right? Or technically 4 ways, because when the bull market's going, I mean, it'll go above it. But in bear market, the 3 main ways. So there's no reason to assume anything else besides those 3 ways will happen. We're not in a bull market. So stop assuming it'll happen. Just let time prove, like, the one time it happens, it's okay to be wrong. But I would prefer to be right 8 times instead of guessing, that's the bottom, that's the bottom. Did you buy the dip? What altcoins you buying? All the stupid shit that Twitter accounts were talking about through the whole bear market, or at least 2/3 of it. So I would rather be right 8 times and wrong the last time it finally breaks out. So that's why it's logical to right now assume it will be one of those 3 things. Okay. Now the next layer will help give you more information on top of that. I really hope you're following me. Like, what I'm telling you is what I'm showing you can do for other coins. It won't always be the exact same tools, but you have to find the tools you need for the job. And right now, these tools are fucking perfect. Like, I approach, some jobs, I don't have the exact right tool, but I can still do it, right? It's not as fast, or the quality isn't as good, or both together. I'm slower and the quality sucks. Or sometimes to have the same amount of quality, it just takes more time without the perfect exact tool. But I think right now, like, these are the perfect tools. All right, and I'm showing you how to use them. All right, for current price action. The macro channel, we're just using that for context. We got back into the bull trap zone after leaving it, and it is the first time that it's coming up for a rejection, okay? So the weekly 10 is at the top. That's right at 18,000. That looks like a pretty good target. If it can get above this blue line, this is what's happened, okay? But I'm going to take that off. That's not technically part of my analysis. Origin line. Origin line is. Now, from an origin line perspective, we know that Bitcoin does not have permission to come up here to this line until this line is hit or lower. It won't happen. And technically, it doesn't have permission to do anything more than a 45-degree angle from when you look left. So when you go above this line from which it fell, you go above it, now look left, the local high, the most bullish permission it had, or the highest it has permission to go above the current line from which it fell without touching this line. So how high can it go without touching this line? If it can't touch this line, then how high can it go? It's a projection tool, 45-degree angle. Oh, that's too frequent, sorry. All right, it shouldn't pop up and do that shit as much anymore. So this is the second rule, right? The weekly 10, we have 3 ways. With the origin line, we know that the highest it can go is in here. Like, it's not going to go any higher, folks. This rule has only been broken one time ever, and it was when Bitcoin price wasn't real. It was, so after that one, it shouldn't do it as much. It should wait like 5 minutes or so. Yeah, it's only been broken once. When Bitcoin price was literally being controlled to do the textbook shape of Wyckoff, right? In 13 years, the rule's been broken once. So the rule probably won't be broken again. It doesn't have permission to go above there. Now, what are the 3 ways that this can react? It can come up shy of the origin line, it can get rejected by the origin line, or it can fail your pattern above. Doesn't that sound similar to the 3 ideas of the weekly 10? So now, how do you start getting that shit to align? Right? Like, very powerful things. The weekly 10 is very powerful. Origin lines are like the king boss. There's nothing more. I mean, honestly, there's nothing more powerful than origin lines outside of maybe coordinated whale efforts. That might be the only thing that's more powerful. But you can't, there's no chart for that. So now that's 2. Yeah, that's 2. 3. Now I'm going to go to the 15. Nah, it's probably too low. 30-minute chart. Yeah, I'll go to the 30-minute chart. Now we're really zoomed in, and over here is November of this month, the 9th, or of last month. So the 9th of November is right behind me. Okay. So we have about a month of price history right here. Roll these lines. And this wick down, it touches the origin line. And just try to, and it goes just above that wick from the 14th. Like, draw this line. It doesn't have to be perfect. Put on the weekly 10, draw, something close to this, and draw these 5 lines. I'm telling you, if you understand the rules of each and know how they're stacking on top of each other, it's right now, like, it's beautiful. It's all aligning, and it's so clear. I'm telling you, it's true. All right, so now we have the micro channel as 1. Origin line is 2. Weekly 10 is 3. Oh, I haven't gone over the rules. So the rules for this are very similar to the origin lines. If you go below this, right, and use it as resistance, then you typically have to, but it's and use as resistance. So if you're falling below it, so this is not falling below it because you're walking up, right? That is a higher low, you're fine. But if you are, I guess technically this is a higher low, but if you start going like this and falling below it in a micro downtrend, then you have to touch this line before you can get past this one to touch that one. So right now it's indecisive. So let's zoom way in. So we know that there is a possibility for both the weekly 10 and the origin line on that macro scale that it could come up shy of all that. And it's in the bull trap zone, which it's likely going to get rejected. But how high does it go before it's rejected, right? So as of right now, if it starts breaking this line, and let's go to the 3-minute chart, and you see it being used as resistance. So down, when it touched it again, did it use it as resistance? No. When it went below it, did it use it as resistance on the way back up? No. So does this look like it's going to break down yet? No. So at this exact moment in time, you have an edge that this line or higher will be hit. That's it. And you know the potentials of the more macro chart, it could go even higher because we're still shy of both the weekly 10 and the origin line. It might stay shy, but we're just trying to figure out where will it turn around. We have 3 general choices and we're going to be able to see it, right? But at any moment in time with these 4 tools, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to have an edge. Will you be able to guess exactly correctly, every time? No. In a probability, even a 98% probability means that 2 times out of 100, you're going to be wrong, right? So it doesn't get even a badass probability does not guarantee it's going to happen. It's you are the house, not the gambler. That's all it means. What do you prefer to be, the house or the gambler? Oh, my blue box. Shit. And last one. There you go. That's resistance as well. You just use that as normal horizontal resistance. If you're this far in a bear market and you don't know how to use a horizontal for support and resistance, know what it means, then... But how would I use this in my chart? Well, I would say that all it means is it's going to have extra trouble getting above here. And if it gets above there, it's probably going to spike above with force, get rejected by this, have to land on this line, just like it did here. Got above it, got rejected, landed on this line. It'll probably do the same thing. I don't see this getting rejected by the bottom side of this next line. I think it's up there. It's going to push through. Hell, it might hit the origin line on the next push, honestly. Because to get through this zone, you got to have a lot of whales market buying. Like you got to have algos or institutions market buying through there. Going to be a lot of orders. And if you looked at a heat map order book or whatever, I bet you there's a lot of shit going on somewhere between 17.9, 17.2 to 17.9. Like there's something there. And it's probably, I just almost every time that I have my horizontals, it just aligns with the heat map almost perfectly. So in order to get through this, they're going to have to punch it. So what's going to happen is it's probably not just going to say, hey, knocking on the door. No, it's probably going to go past it, get rejected by this, and come down on it. That would be my best bet. Or if it starts getting rejected by this, then I'm going to bet it's going to hit this line. But as of now, it's not. It hasn't used it as resistance, and it's on top of it. So my best bet is, at bare minimum, it's going to hit this. How will it hit it? Based off of this information, it has to punch through it, then come and land on it. And then would my next move analysis change in 10 minutes if price went below this line and used it as resistance on the next 5-minute candle? Yes, that could happen before I have this uploaded. So just realize if it doesn't do this and this, like coming on my channel saying, you're wrong. Well, as of now, it is more probable. I know it could be wrong because my probability is not that great, but it's over 50%. Like I just have so many people come on my channel and say this. I'm like, dude, I covered what price? Okay. If I tell you my 2 or 3 best guesses and literally show you if I'm wrong, this is what price will do, and it does something like that, but not my main guess, and you come on my channel and say, you were wrong, but I showed you if I'm wrong, this is what it'll do. Like, how are you okay leaving those comments? I don't understand. Maybe because I didn't watch the whole video. I don't know. But I'm like, come on, man. And that's it. That is Bitcoin. Those are all the tools you need for now. Make sure you have the all alerts on. It's particularly newer folks to my channel or even returning viewers, because a lot of you do not have that bell hit. Hit that bell for me, and we're going to move on to other questions within the live chat. Draw the lines on your chart. Do this. Do it. Let me make myself, before I stop this recording, make it look like this. Here, let's get this bitch off of here. Bam. Gender neutral, bitch. Gender neutral. So the flashing guy is non-binary. Okay. Make sure this is on your chart. And if you don't know how to use, these tools, you need to look at TradingView tutorials. I have one on my, you can look at my TradingView tutorial, but you need to learn how to make these disappear and stuff. All right, that's Bitcoin. Be safe. All right. Questiones. Flux, yeah, Soliman, we'll do Flux. Somebody will ask for it on top of your request. But even if none of the tier members request it, I'll cover it. So if I skip your question and you're not a YouTube tier member, just realize it's for a reason. Like the people with the emblem, so it has like a color with a star in it. Part of the benefits of being within the Discord or the YouTube community is this: they have the same priority as super chats. In a bear market, smaller account like me, it's typically not that big of a deal. But I have enough members where I typically only have time to answer their questions. Today might be a little different though. So let's jump on it. Here we go. Yeah, Papa Longball's also wanted me to look at. Yeah, so if you looked at Flux and then or Soliman wanted Flux, and then the first question from a tier member wanted Flux. So we're doing Flux first because I have multiple people asking for it before anything else. That's pretty cool. Flux is one I'm personally a little interested in. From an investor standpoint, I don't know necessarily do I want to trade it. In a bear market, probably not. But I want to be specific of how I'm interested in it. From an investor buy and hold DCA. That's where I'm interested. Okay. Huh. What the fuck was that? I haven't looked at this chart for a while. Wow. So this is the time it hit my, was it this one? Yeah. It hit my target. Oh, I'm big. Sorry. So this is the one where I had a target of this and it hit it on the nose to the penny, right? And then it blasted a lot higher than I thought. I haven't really been looking at Flux for a while. I did not know it fell 2 origin lines down and spiked up on a 30-minute candle all the way to the... So can you see that origin lines work? I've been telling everybody who follows Flux on my channel, origin lines on Flux work very, very well. So let me zoom out for any new people, okay? Here, actually, I need to start that recording. Flux fans, new viewers, or even returning viewers to my channel who have not taken the time to draw origin lines, I want you to go ahead and let me stall here for a second because I have a very sloppy object tree. But I want you to try to do your best to make your chart look like this. And if you're watching on the right-hand side, I just showed you how to make it all disappear as well. So that was a macro channel that I can actually get rid of. Bear market. Ooh, wow. So it went way below my bear targets. I will keep that there even though they're too high. And then where are all the price labels? Let's go like this. Just drag everything in this guy. Seriously? There we go. Boom. I got one more. Hold on. I have to try this 3 freaking times. I missed Rom. There we go. Now I have a clean object tree and I can be a better YouTuber when I'm covering Flux. And I've covered Flux enough, or I should have had all that shit done. Fans of Flux, new viewers or returning viewers who are a fan of Flux, if you have not taken the time to copy these extremely valuable origin lines, if you're for fans of this chart, I'm telling you, they work better for Flux than they do on average, like altcoins. Like you need to try your best to make this happen. And if they get too annoying for you and too busy, just use your object tree to make them disappear. I have a tutorial on how to set up your chart like mine. Not exactly how to do origin lines. That's in my Discord. Within the Discord community, I have a tutorial on that. But you need these lines if you like Flux, okay? All right, now let's start zooming into price to see what's happening. The first 2 requests during this live stream were about Flux, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's go down to the small candles. All right, yeah, so this is the moment where I nailed it. It came up shy of my origin line. I don't know why I thought it would, and then spiked. I haven't been looking at Flux since. I honestly don't remember it having. So here, let's zoom into this part. Watch, like, just watch how perfectly this works. These origin lines. Lost support, lower high, took out the low. But before you go down, what do you got to do? You got to get everybody out of their shorts. Where's the limit to that? The origin line, particularly because you took out the low. Had this been a higher low, it would have actually had permission to go up here. But since it took out the low, going under an origin line, specifically, it didn't have permission to do much more than this. Look how perfectly that works. All right, now, a very, very common move. Here I kind of hesitated around it. Let's go to the tiny, tiny candles just to take a look. All right, so that's the same one. Went below it, used it as resistance. Let's look at the next one. So it tried to base off this. It tried to make this the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders. That's what it tried to do. So this was a failed inverse head and shoulders is what this was. So coming down, neckline, boom, come up, neckline, fake out, blast. That's what it was trying to do. That's what Bitcoin's doing right now, but on an angle. So the neckline is like this. So it looks boom, 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 and Bitcoin's right there right now. Does that make sense? That's what Bitcoin's doing. And this was a failed one. It tried to do it, but it couldn't. All right. And where has it wicked up to perfectly multiple times? And where did it get rejected from? The origin line. Are you guys seeing this? Are even these nasty wicks? Like, it's crazy. I don't know why it's working like this. Came up to it again. So here, take a look at this. Here's one of those interesting situations where a rule technically was never broken, but it looks like it was. With an origin line rule, but it wasn't broken. So this is a pop quiz. Not Flux specific, but origin line rules. And if you don't know the answer to this, what you're about to learn is valuable, so just listen. Pop quiz. Flux went below this line, made a low, and made a lower low. It did not touch this line. Why is it still have permission to go up if that seems obviously against the rules? A hint. It has to do with one of those moments where I say, and that's why I do that. Because moments like this, it looks like, oh my God, it's breaking rules. Like these origin line rules don't work, right? But that's why I say, and. Right. What is it? What's the answer? Somebody start typing. Even though we have a lag, I want to see people's guesses. Not telling you the answer until I start seeing some guesses. It didn't go below and get rejected by the line. This doesn't happen very often. So what this is, this looks like bigger money or a couple of whales who know each other who are accumulating this coin. It could be the founders because they know their company's going to do well and they had to sell during the bull market to keep their business afloat, and now they're buying back. That might be what it is. And that's actually a good sign. Like company buyback in a bear market, that's pretty good if they're able to, but it's somebody. I can already tell because this was not used as resistance. So what was happening? They already knew that this was going to be their bottom, but the timing with Bitcoin wasn't right. So before they did this big, I guess what you call a vector candle, which I did not make up that word. I got that from another, I guess he's on YouTube. He's really good. But so this I guess, whatever you want to call it, pump candle. This means that the people here, whoever is essentially one of the bigger players of this coin, they knew this was going to be the bottom. Bitcoin was not ready. They waited till Bitcoin is ready. Then they blasted through the order book. That makes sense? And I can tell that because it never used this as resistance. It just allowed sellers to take it down, and that whatever group or whoever's a market maker in this, it's probably not very many people, or it's probably not something like $20 million of activity, but I mean, you can tell. Do you see what I'm saying? Nothing. So let's zoom way in here. Actually, I'm already zoomed way in. 3-minute chart. Look, went below. Did it use it as resistance? Yeah, on one candle, right there, but it got straight back up. So, I mean, one candle of a 3-minute, that's not quite enough. Went below, went straight back up. Went below, went straight right through it. Went below, went straight through it. Went below, when it touched it, what did it do? It looked like this was a rejection, but it didn't touch the line. So when it touched the line, what was the behavior of the candle? And again, this is not just for Flux, it's for everything. And try to replace closures above and below support and resistance with what I'm showing you. This is better. It works way better. Closures with support and resistance are used to trick you. I'm telling you. Now, there are some types of daily and weekly closures around certain lines that aren't often used for fake outs. But if it's a clear support and resistance, it's often used to fake you out. Okay, here we go. And this is more valuable. So at the support and resistance, how do the candles react? It's so much more valuable than the closures. I'm telling you. Because all this, I could already tell that if it came down, it had a strong chance of going back up. It never used it as resistance, right? And I haven't covered this long enough to really have been tracking it. And here, it went even lower and didn't use it as resistance. Low, didn't use it as resistance. So it went even lower because Bitcoin wasn't ready. And when it interacted with this, did it use it as resistance? Hell no. It blasted through it and used it as support. All right. So now where is Flux going? So now that we have that lesson on how to interpret support and resistance and origin lines work for this coin exceptionally well. We're going to have to get to price. Oh my God, that was, all right. So this big move, what did it base off of? So I haven't moved this line for over a year. It's real. Looking how the candles behave on that line, I'm telling you, it is one of the most valuable freaking things I've ever discovered. Self-discovered. Have other people discover this? Absolutely. But I self-discovered it, right? Just like, has anybody on earth ever used what I consider origin lines that I made and created? Yeah, probably hundreds of people. Probably not in crypto, though. Maybe dozens of people. Oh, hey, draw the lines, guys. Hey, Kadena. Exactly. So is this not compelling? Why you want to draw the lines? It clearly based off of it and went up 2 and stopped exactly on it. Like, there's nothing more compelling than that, right? And then came straight back down, almost straight down. But straight back down here, use this as resistance. Like, it's just insane. All right, here we go. So what's price going to do now? I don't know. You tell me. You know the rules. The rules on low time frames doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let me take a look. I guess it's between rules because you're coming. I don't count this. This is a 30-minute wick, so I'm not counting this as going below this. I'm counting it from here to here. This is an uptrend, so it can get rejected and make it. So, okay, so here's what is going to happen. Ignore this. This is not real. The real price action is this, okay? All right. Now, this probably just recovered something, and my origin line happened to align almost perfectly with it. There was something over here. But my origin lines are magic. They just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like glasses for people who can't see it. It just allows you to see what's happening. So with ignoring that, I'm going to say that this is going, your edge is up until you break higher low structure. Higher high structure is not needed, specifically the lows. Because we're not running into a commonly traded shape, that fake out down before it goes up, that happens at inverse head and shoulders before it breaks up, it often goes kablam, bam, right? Just like the fake outs to the upside go kablam, bam. The fake outs to the upside don't go like this, then that. Maybe on altcoins because if Bitcoin pulls it down afterwards sometimes, but Bitcoin doesn't do that, right? So I don't expect this to happen. Rather, when it finally I would say, yeah, maybe this low. But if it takes out this low, that's when your edge is to the downside, at least to this origin line. If it takes out this low, that's when you can expect it to come up and get rejected by this line and then head down. That's it. So once it gets booted from this line, it has a high likelihood of wanting to get rejected by it, maybe even a rejection failure pattern and then come down. I would look for a double pattern on it. But so if this comes down, go outside of it, failure, rejection, then origin line. So let me mark those off. Boom. and it might, get rejected by this, about 56 cents if it happens soon. But regardless, this line, if it's way out here, it's going to be 58 cents. So it's not the exact price, it's the line itself. So that's how you get an edge to the downside. How much of a trade would that be? Get rejected down there, 13%. But realize once it leaves this, it's like that mean reversion back. It will want to snap back to it because buyers are still hopeful to get back in this channel. The sellers need to, it's like getting a second whooping or something, like to learn the lesson. Like they need a second beatdown before the buyers give up. That's literally what it is. So it's not like touching a stove. You need a few reminders. To the upside, I would be, I would be interested in guarding any long positions and having my stops in profit whenever price is here, because that's when it could turn around. That doesn't mean I would exit all my positions, but I would probably do something like if I were in longs or even on spot, I would either tuck, Actually, no, the way I personally would do it, not financial advice on any coin in this situation, is I do it one of two ways. I typically take full profits and look to re-enter, and if it blows through it, I just look for another trade. That's how I usually do it in a bear market. I like to take my money fast. The other way I often do it is I take half, and this is how most of the traders on my Discord community do it. I'm just too impatient. I'm a spaz. I'm a crypto crackhead. That's just the way it is. So I like to take my money. Advantages and disadvantages to that, right? But the other way that might be better over time is I would take half profits and make for damn sure all the rest of my position, 0 chance of a loss even after fees. I would move my stops up. Would I hide it right under price? No, because you're going to get a higher low and you're going to get stopped out before it goes up. Like, why would you do that? I'm saying just make sure you can't take a loss. I would make sure I wouldn't be able to take a loss. And that's how I would play it. And then clearly, if I were in a position, I would be seeking profits. I would be done, totally out. I would front run this. I'd be out my 76 cents. And then shorting, I would wait for this to be used as resistance. I think it's going to do a double tap. It's either going to be a rejection failure pattern, or once it falls out, it's going to be a failure rejection pattern. So either rejections first or second, but I think it's going to be a double tap, and that is Flux. That was in depth as shit, but there was so much stuff in there that applies to everything else. I'm telling you, Bitcoin, everything. I really hope I'm helping you out. Okay. Kadena. Do I have Kadena with my big caps? Huh, I do. It's not a big cap, is it? All right. Thought it had what did it have? In the bull market, how high did it get? Like 200 million market cap, maybe? Can't remember. Because technically I didn't give two shits about this. But my viewers just somehow did. And it kind of has me interested in it a little bit. Who's the guy who he really is holistic with his coverage of Kadena. Pretty biased, but it's very holistic. It's not Mata. Covers all the fundamentals on it, the project news. He goes into the charts. Like most people who do the news stuff, they suck at looking at charts. Like to the point where it's embarrassing, but they don't know it. But anyway, so I didn't really ask for the Kadena followers, but it just happened. But as this comes down, in a bear market, what I'm seeing here is what I'm seeing with Kadena, even though I didn't necessarily try to go get viewers of Kadena and people be interested and help grow my channel and all that stuff with Kadena viewers, it just happened. But because I'm seeing such a big influx of that on my channel, it makes me realize that this coin's being beaten down really badly. But if there are that many people that interested in it in a bear market, among the mid-small caps, so 100 million, I would say 100 million in a bear market and lower, right? From 1 million to 100 million, it's kind of smallish caps. Micro cap is like 5 million and under. this one could be, this could move faster than the majority of mid small caps because usually they're last to move. Mid small caps and micro caps typically don't pump. Yeah, that should only happen once every 5 minutes. The like, subscribe shit. Micro caps typically don't pump until Bitcoin breaks its all-time high. But because of the influx, so I'm trying to help you. Like, this is not fundamental. This isn't the project. This is numbers. I see trends. I'm trying to help you. This might sound foolish. It might sound like, oh, it's not the project. It doesn't matter. Like, I can see it and I can feel it in the charts. This is valuable. Like I'm telling you. So, you know, this might be a nasty downtrend. I'm always bearish on it, as I should be, right? Like I've been bearish the whole time. But I want you to realize, in light of my always bearishness for good reasons, there is a lot of cool stuff happening with this from my strict perspective. From a fundamentalist project perspective, the other guy I was trying to, I can't remember, maybe Ryan Mata, but he does a really good job covering this coin. So if you're new to my channel, you need to, even though I don't even know the guy, I'm giving him a shout out, but he does it. He puts in a lot of time and effort. So if you're a fan of this, first off, make sure you draw these origin lines. So you don't have to make them all weird looking like mine, all the dashed and stuff. So I need to make these all the same. Or I guess they're not the same size. Anyway, you need to try to do this. It's going to be very valuable. And you need this line on your chart as well. So you need to try drawing origin lines, and you need to draw this line here. Okay, now we're going to zoom into Kadena. And really, that's all you need. You only need two things for Kadena. You can always throw on the weekly 10, okay? About all you need. I mean, that and intuition has led me to be pretty spot on this, the analysis of this for quite some time. All right. In order to figure out what it's allowed to do here, no, my last video, I covered this. I said, I think it's going to swipe up one more time, but before it does, it has to come back down and hit this line. So it was sometime after this wick happened, it was under the origin line, and during the live chat, it screamed up, and I said, this isn't the one. This has got to come back down, right? And I said, I think it might want to take out this high because it's too low below this. So that's where we left off. I gave all the reasons why that might happen. It's trying to happen, so let's zoom in to see where that was. Tuesday, it was right here. Yeah. So I already could tell. Now it has to come back down because I didn't like how this scoop, that's not going to get it all the way up there. You got to put in some more time. So it's been riding this origin line. It looks to me, I mean, I still think it's going to take out that high because this is what it's been doing the last several times. It's so watch my last Kadena video. Somebody even left the comment on there, this is your best video ever, or best Kadena video ever, or whatever. I personally don't know if I thought so, but but it was a good one. So if you missed it, check it out, because this is essentially a continuation. I'm not going to backtrack and go over all of that. All right. Yeah, so horizontal just above that should be the weekly 10. Yeah, it's going to hit the weekly 10. I think it's going to nail it right there. When can you expect a breakdown? Even though the origin line will get the next big move, right? I think the micro direction will be decided before this. You have inverse W, right? Which just means first low, higher low. That's all it means. For the most part, with symmetry. I guess it requires symmetry as well. And I busted up. Okay. So this neckline, nope, that's going to come in right at the origin line. So that is here already. So it will just be the origin line. And then I would say, oh, here. There, this will give you the heads up first. Okay. So I'm saying that I think it's going to hit here and then head down. Okay, what happens after there, I don't really care. I just think that that's its next direction. It's going to hit that 113. For reasons from Tuesday, and now it looks like all good. And it is really quite probable. But when does it become improbable, right? Not invalidated. Because really, I mean, you could come all the way down here and use this as support and go up. I mean, but when does it become less probable that this is going to be touched before it's touched? See if you break below this line. When does it become even more improbable that this move up here will happen? When you go below and you use it as resistance and tick down. At that moment, then you know this line will be hit next, not this one. But the probability flip point is when you break this structure. It's not invalidated. It still might be about a 50-50 chance, either one, which was hit first, this one or this one, right? Because this was a pretty strong micro trend. So the moment it leaves this, it turns into about a 50-50 chance. When you start recalibrating your edge is when you identify how do the tiny candles interact with that line. And that's when you're going to know, is my edge here or is it here? But until that moment happens, your edge is absolutely at 113. Now, could you get your ass liquidated before then? Taking longs right now? Abso-freaking-lutely. Look. That's a 6% move. If you're on 20x, you're liquidated. 18x, you're liquidated. Close to liquidated. Yeah, no, you would be liquidated, 18x. Yeah, you could get your ass handed to you if you're pissing around with futures and you don't know how to trade. So don't go over here and say, goes with Verasity, they said. No, I mean, I typically don't like to long at the top of I don't like the breakout trade very much. This bear market, I kind of taken my words back because in retrospect, backtesting stuff, in this choppy market, some of the absolute best trades were small time frame and mid time frame breakouts out of horizontals. As simple as that, literally out of like just passing the previous local high. It's been some of the best trades out there, longs. And I don't like to trade that way. But this is not a horizontal. So I don't like taking longs in places like this. And if you do that, just because this is by far the most probable thing, your ass would get liquidated if you took a long on now and it hit this obvious line, which it might hit anyway, and you're on 18x. You are liquidated. Or just round up to 20, right? And that's what we got. That's Kadena. So don't go fooling around with leverage if you don't know how to do it just because we're probably going to hit this, okay? Please don't lose your money like that. In a bear market, you want to save as many, you're a squirrel, hoard as many nuts as you can. Don't lose them. All right. Maybe you'll get paid with a green dildo. Oh, yeah, okay. Holy mackerel. Tool. Who's a tool? Oh, tool. Yeah, I was saying the word tool a lot. Okay, these tools. Or you're calling me a tool. That's fine. All right, so Mitchell asked for KDA as well. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I have a non-community member asking a good question. I think I have to address this one. So Sir Alex Ferguson, it's been a few weeks since I've taken a non-member question. Do you think most alts will be going to the weekly 20 EMA? I am seeing this on a lot of charts that they are all rallying to this. You're probably right. I don't. So I'm going to throw on the weekly 21. Is that okay? But yeah, the weaker alts are rallying to their weekly 10. The stronger will be rallying to the weekly 21 because it falls slower, so therefore it's up higher. So either alts are now, like Kadena is rallying to its weekly 10, but it's not a stronger, it's actually one of the weaker alts out there. I think if you could split alts into 3 tiers, right? So 3 brackets like green, yellow, red, like red is the bad ones. I would say Kadena is probably the top of the red. Or the bottom of the yellow. Like, so 33 percentile, 30 percentile in terms of strength. So it's only at the 10. But anything 50 percentile and above is, I think it should be no, not even Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not going up to it. A lot of alts. So alts are really strong. You're right. Alts are just way too strong right now. So let's go. Let's look at SHIB. Let's just keep both of them on and There you go. So now we have the monthly 10. Now we have the monthly 10, the weekly 21, and the weekly 10. So this is the one you were talking about. The yellow was your question. But some might be interactive. The really strong ones are up here. The weak ones, technically Bitcoin's here too, Kadena, and then the strong ones are up here. So let's go see. Let me go to the 30-minute chart. And you said most altcoins, right? So the ones I follow the most are Ethereum. It is below its weekly 10. The yellow's way up here. This is the one you asked about. So not that one. Cardano. Wow, that is weak. Holy shit, that's weak. Not even close. Dash, yes. Fucking Dash. I made 2 good trades buying this line. So I bought it here and here and here, actually. But I took profits here. So how much of this, so from here to here was my vector. How many, so I only got about a quarter of the trade. Nope, I got more than a quarter. I got a third of the trade. It still sucks though. You sell and it, like your favorite coin just keeps flying, but that's just what happens sometimes. All right, so I'm actually surprised Dash is one of the stronger ones on this chart. That's good. That's okay. Litecoin at its, so I told you the really strong ones are up at the white. That's strong. That's actually kind of impressive. That might be the only crypto that it's at its monthly 10 outside of just ridiculous shit like Chronos Tech Time ticker. What else is just off the damn charts in the bullish sense? Scallop or whatever the hell it is. All right, anyway, XRP below its weekly 10, can't get above, so no to that one. Oh, no, that's the wrong chart. That's total 4 that I created. Inch below red, 𝐃𝐬𝐤𝐝 below red. Whoa, this Algorand's way below. Man, if this one survives the bear market, which it probably will, this one, it's not as beaten down as ICP, but and it didn't have a volatile bull run, but man, it's sure setting up to have a volatile buyback next bull run. My God. It's really getting beat down. Probably because they didn't have their tokenomics figured out. But I think what's this guy? The guy's name Silvio or whatever, the PhD or whatever, who created it. I think they got it figured out. So Atom is Atom. So it's taking a spill. So it. Oh man, Atom's gonna get smoked now. This almost makes me think that FTX was buying Atom. This was unnaturally strong, everybody. So a lot of this was during the hype to the Ethereum merge, which all altcoins pumped. This was stupid. Man, yeah, it has to, yeah, Atom has to hit that, but it's below its weekly 10. I'm really surprised. This is no longer one of the Dash is now stronger than this on a major EMA standpoint. It depends on how you measure strength, right? Below its weekly 10, below the red. Bitcoin Cash at the red. That's kind of surprising. BNB, right on top of yellow and red at the white. So it's among the strongest coins out there. Cake, below red. Chili's, well, this is unfair. This technically was among the strongest cryptos in all of crypto. It was on top of its freaking monthly 10. Wow. But that was because all of the fucking anticipation to the, what do you call it? The World Cup. Now that it's there, it's just going to sell the news, and all this is now done, right? So I probably won't be longing this anymore, personally. But that's a fun chart to trade. Below red. So that was Curve, way below red. Digibyte, below red. Dogecoin, at the white. So Dogecoin's really strong right now. Whatever Elrond or whatever the hell this is, below red, weak. Engine, very weak. Engine coin looks like it's getting destroyed. Filecoin, stronger than I thought, but below red. Here's below red. Phantom, going up to orange. Here's one that's going up to it. So yeah, the yellow, actually it probably will hit it, because yeah, the yellow will be there by the time it gets there. So so stronger coins are Gala. Oh man, this might be dead. Ooh, it shouldn't be that much below its weekly 10. That's pretty bad. Graph, weak as hell. ICP, actually doing okay, but it's still way below the red. Yeah, it's been, guys, this isn't real. Like, there is a market participant propping this up. Once that person lets loose, it's gonna go down again. But because the rules to this line needed to be hit. So this is not mass market psychology. It's somebody who doesn't know how to read a chart very well who is propping it up before it was supposed to. Even Elon's tweet that made Bitcoin go skyrocketing, it was at almost a perfect moment in the charts to pump Bitcoin. I swear the shit's planned. Like they have, yeah. So whoever did this is not good at chart reading. But it's being held up. However, the bottom of this line will be hit. I don't know when, but it will be. All right. So if it's way out here in January, there you go. Okay. Kadena going up to the red. Here's another strong one. Link going up to the weekly 20, like you asked. Luna Classic is totally different than everything else. It still hasn't had its bearish cross yet. Oh my god, this one's dead. Yeah, it's gonna die after that cross. Maybe it's already supposed to be dead. All right, let's look at Trias. Ooh, it's also going up to the white one. So that answers your question. It is not true. Most of them are going to their weekly 10, not weekly 20. EMA. Kadena UAE asks a really good question. How important is it to me, or no, how important is the difference between proof of work and proof of stake to me when I am considering altcoins? That's really, okay. I might record this. Maybe I shouldn't. I said this to my VIPs last night, but I try to keep like the juicy stuff off of YouTube. Like I added another one magic line for all of crypto and all of stocks. Like it's probably going to be right. And I'm not going to share that on YouTube, for example. I think I can, yeah, this is fine. Okay. So it's funny you ask that question. Impeccable timing to ask me this question during the live chat. I'm going to record it because this is interesting. Something to chew on. It might not be immediately valuable for your crypto portfolio, but hear what I have to say. I've been in this game for 5.5 years. You might find some value in it. So I got asked the question, essentially, when I'm scouting altcoins, how much weight or importance do I put on the difference between proof of stake and proof of work coins? Great question. In the past, so up until very, very recently, I would say that was among the weakest points of weight that I have when considering what to choose. For example, on a test, you have multiple choice up top, word problems in the middle on a math test in school, and then like the big long one down at the bottom, right? The big long problem that takes you half the test is worth 20 points. It's weighted heavier. The ones in the middle are worth 4. The multiple choice are worth 1. They're weighted differently, right? So the way in the past that I used to do is it was one of my multiple choice ones. I did not put much weight on it. What I put most weight on was coin circ, because I noticed this bull run, not only did the founders and creators of companies, essentially the main reason they're getting into crypto is to be able to sell to their investors immediately. because they kept almost all their coins. And not only that, they freaking lied about it. That did not happen in 2017. The information was correct on CoinMarketCap what the circulating supply was. So this time around, companies either lied, specifically lied, or hid. So had it on their website in some place where you could have found it, but on CoinMarketCap, they left it wrong because they always have access to go change it at any time. CoinMarketCap has already verified that that's accurate. And a lot of companies lied. So I put more weight on CoinCirc versus like how much of the percentage of coins are out. So what is the best performing altcoin this bear market? One where almost 100% or actually 100% of the coins are in circulation. Chronos Tech time, ticker time. It's going insane. Is it a coincidence that all of its coins are in circulation? No, it's not. Because the project founders or the company leaders aren't taking coins and dumping them on you. They can't. They're all in circulation. They didn't keep 80% of their freaking coins for the team or the dev team or the marketing. That's what I put the most weight on, CoinCirc, percentage. However, while that is still among the most important things for me, and the weight that I'm going to apply to the proof of work versus proof of stake, that during this bear market only has become of even more. I flipped, actually not flipped. The proof of work versus proof of stake went from being weighted like a multiple choice down to being the last problem on the math test that takes half of the whole test time-wise, right? Here is why. And I just said this last night with my VIPs, and I hadn't said it to them before. So you're going to get, I guess, juicy or new information, but I think it's fine sharing this. Here's why. I got lucky that during this stream, I already mentioned the fact that when news is released, that affects the markets, or when Elon tweets, for example, back in February or March 2021, the timing of that tweet was almost absolutely perfect in the charts to go up, to pump it, especially if you're a market maker. The signal was exact and perfect on multiple fronts, indicators, structure, all that stuff. News-related political fighting, for example, they get the information, they release it at the right time. For example, not to get political, but for example, the American Democrats are very good at politicking. Do they win as much as they, should if they're that good at politicking? No. But they're really good at politicking. One example of kind of like what we're facing here, and you're going to see why I'm saying this. It sounds unrelated, but it's freaking not. It's the government, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So when Kavanaugh he's a Supreme Court justice, when he was going through the process of getting, sworn in and all that stuff, whatever, being chosen, I think it was Kavanaugh. The U.S. Liberal Party, the Democrats, already had beef on him. They had been collecting it for months, or already had it for years, because they knew, they knew who the best candidates were. That the president at the time, I'm not going to mention the T word because that might trigger a lot of people. But orange hair. When he was selecting his candidates, you already know that the Democrats politicking, they're already going out and getting beef on everybody and hoarding it for the right moment, sitting there waiting with the evidence. Okay, when are we going to open it? When are we going to do it? Now. They waited until the exact moment to strike, right? Elon's tweet, it waited for the right moment in the charts to strike. What the fuck does this have to do, Tim, with the question in crypto? Why am I still listening to you at this point? My God, here is why. Connect those two together. SEC got embarrassed with the results or not results, but just how it's going with Ripple. You need to realize that the SEC is like, let's stop imagining the SEC as a group where you can't personify it, and imagine it's a person, one person, right? It's like that. I don't know, like a bad guy or a cop, like the only cop on a movie who's chasing somebody at multiple times throughout the movie, like always chasing you, right? So just it's a person. Imagine it's a person. SEC, which is, suing Ripple or whatever it's doing. They got embarrassed because they thought they were going to make quick work, almost like Russia with Ukraine. They're getting embarrassed. They're going to retaliate. Not just because they think it's right, because they're angry. I'm telling you. What does that have to do with all the shit I was saying earlier? They're going to wait until the moment's right to strike. What does that mean? I still am not connecting the dots. That means crypto will already be in a weak posturing when the SEC comes out with like 20 different coins, of maybe 10 of them, that they're going after, and the market is going to get rocked. And it will be in the charts. And the SEC is going to wait until that freaking moment. Because the Democrats are pretty much, well, not in the House, but they're going to maintain, I think, Senate's not, it's up for the debate. No, they will have Senate control. So they'll still have two branches completely good to go. And so the SEC will be able to do that. That means maybe the technical bottom targets have already been hit. And then it just does the clean, so like the big crypto clean sweep. That's worst case. Do I think that's going to happen? Maybe not. It might happen when the natural next leg down was going to happen anyway, and it just stimulates it and makes it go slightly deeper, maybe a wick to 9,600. I don't know. But if we go down to, let's say, 12K to the next origin line down, and then start to recover, make a higher low, and right when you're trying to scoop out of that for maybe, like, was that the bottom we just did? That's when the SEC would strike. Right in that exact scenario. Or after it technically bottom went sideways and was going sideways for a while, it would strike at that moment. Either sideways action after a low, consolidation phase or accumulation phase, and then or a higher low. And so proof of work versus proof of stake, proof of work coins on average are not a company. It's mostly the coins that came into existence before crypto was Nasdaq 2.0, full of securities with teams and marketing teams and dev team with 80% of the tokens that were created out of thin air and sold to investors who are promised the moon. I'm telling you, almost all cryptos that came out April 2017 and after are going to have exposure to this. And it's probably going to happen. So proof of work coins on average, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Monero, technically, Bitcoin Cash. A lot of so monetary coins are typically proof of work. So not only is proof of work more important to me during this bear market because of all this, I'm specifically, I might. So what I was saying last night is I might get rid of all my limit buys, my down really low targets for stuff like, whether it's Kadena, Trias, Pipro, whatever. I'm considering changing my approach to only going with both monetary and proof of work coins. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin Cash. Nothing personally against it, but I don't think there are going to be that many winners in the space, so I would bet on Litecoin and Dash to be the transactable portion of crypto. Because Bitcoin, I don't know. I don't, even with Lightning Network, I don't think it's ever going to be the transacting branch function of crypto. I doubt it. Bitcoin will probably be more used for making banks prove they have the funds. It might be because it's a public ledger. I always thought that that would be a Bitcoin's downfall, but honestly, that might lock it in as a proof, as a reserve currency, because you can prove whether you're solvent very quickly. Public information. All right, that might be what it's used for. And then, so the SEC, it's already clear, or at least to me, it's already clear that they're not going to go after those coins. Why? Because they got embarrassed and they're going to pick ones where they know they're going to win. They're going to pick an easy fight. They're not going after a crypto that isn't a company, didn't have an unfair IPO. Like hell, even, even Monero, coming out a little later than Bitcoin and Litecoin, they had a fair mine. I know, wait, they had a small pre-mine, but it's not an ICO, right? I think, no, it was a fair pre-mine, right? But anyway, these proof of work coins, they're not exposed to that. So even if the SEC didn't have anything else to do and they wanted to come after, Dash or Bitcoin, they couldn't. It's not a company. By default, it can't be, right? So, but all the other coins since roughly April 2017, man, because the SEC is going to retaliate, they're going to wait for the exact moment to strike. They're almost definitely going to strike proof of stake coins that came out after April 2017. I might switch my game plan, get rid of all my limit buys for all proof of stake and non-monetary coins, and I might only go with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, and maybe XRP. Because I think XRP's case, at worst, they're going to lose but get slapped on the hand. They have plenty of money to pay the fine. It won't affect XRP price at this point. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. So, but I might, if I did it, I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I probably would include a little XRP because they've already gotten past that phase, right? And that's it. And I consider that, even though XRP is not a cryptocurrency by definition, and I feel that it is a bet against Bitcoin, but I think it's a good hedge versus Bitcoin as a bet. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but XRP is I guess it's the opposite bet of Bitcoin. It's not a crypto. It is centralized. It is working with traditional finance. Bitcoin is the opposite. It is a bet against Bitcoin not working. And not in terms of adoption. Which one will be adopted? It could be both, right? But it's still a bet against it. It is. If you view it that way. So I would view that as a hedge, right? So monetary coins, sort of including XRP in that. And that's it. That's my full on freaking answer. Hopefully you found it valuable, and hopefully you got through that, because man, not understanding the idea that the government will wait to strike and all that stuff, I had to explain that. So hopefully you found that valuable. All right. You don't have to agree with me though. Idea got I got crushed on Idea because I couldn't sell it. I promised my viewers I wouldn't sell it, so I didn't. I wish I could have, just like I sold MTV, Verasity, Repro, but since I covered this so much, I made a promise. I still have all 100,000 tokens, and I'm still staking it. This is how far Cardano went down last bear market. And this bear market's not over. So Cardano went lower than this, and it had 135x. So that perspective, it's still kind of okay. Is it among the weaker altcoins out there? Absolutely. It's down 98 and change, right? Stronger altcoins are only down, like KuCoin shares, Binance Coin, or BNB. What else has been really strong besides Time/Chronos? Some coins are only down like 70 to 80%, right? But very few. It's at its being at its weekly 10 doesn't matter being that low. I don't know what you want me to say about it. I mean, it's going to have to do something. The origin lines are actually, they're still working pretty good, I guess. I need to be able to go like this, though. Well, I mean, so the bear market really started heating up after Bitcoin topped at 69K. So this has been the average slope of the bear market as opposed to this. This slope does not count. So this is the average slope. Is this what most altcoins are doing? Since the 69K top, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, when I draw shit, do most altcoins, back from November. So this is back to November, Bitcoin's all-time high. Do most altcoins fall on the channel that are still in the channel? That's roughly the slope. Yeah. Are a lot of altcoins 95 to 98% down? Yeah. Honestly, just par for the course. There's nothing concerning. Outside of being in a bear market. I think it's okay. Is it bottomed? No. Does it have a chance to do well next bull run? Yeah, because it's getting beat down really heavily. Did I take a massive loss on this? Absolutely. That's why next bull run, I don't know if I'm going to talk about coins that I hold anymore. Because I swore to myself I wouldn't be a YouTuber who's obviously talking about coins after they or after I own them. And then once I saw, even with only at the time 6,000 or 6,000 subs, I mean, I talked about small caps and they would just go up 500%. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. I don't want this shit to happen. So then I started selling off my alts and got rid of all my MTV, Verasity, all that stuff. Outside of my beat, I already had gotten rid of most of my beat because I sold at the top at the exact day, as I told everybody else you should too. Yeah, so I got screwed because I talked about this and I promised myself I wouldn't sell it. This would be the one thing I held on to because I talked about it. This is my biggest loss for sure. Will I get my money back? I don't know. I never did on Knowles. 5 years later, still staking it. It didn't even get within 70%. It was still, so it's bull run this time. Like this. Imagine the bull run. It's still 70% down from where I averaged in after a flash crash in 2018. So, could this end up being my average entry? What was here? I don't know. I think it might be all the way up. I don't have a very respectable average entry with this. I'm not going to lie. Because I thought I was going to have a chance to sell back at $1. To create liquidity for it to break out, right? Not to create a wall. But they never tried it. Yeah, I guess that's all I really want to talk about. So what it might do. It's gonna have to take some time. Yep, that's all you need. It'll stay in that channel. And then the moment that it leaves it might be the capitulation, then it snap right back in, and then it would take about a year and a half to form like a distribution or a consolidation zone, and then it can go up. But it might be 2 years it has to do that. But once we get the next violent, move with a bunch of volume on Bitcoin and crypto, then it'll go sideways for an entire year and a half. What will it do after that? I don't know. I don't know how the team's doing. I don't know how the project's doing. I haven't been following it. I really don't know. It could be really good. I sincerely don't have a clue. But as of now, it's not great. It is among the weaker altcoins, but most microcaps are, so that's normal. The chart looks normal. It looks just like ICPs, like Cardano's. They're all in a macro channel from Bitcoin 69K top. They're still in the channel. Stronger coins like Chainlink have done the same thing, but have gone out and are going sideways out of the channel. There aren't very many coins doing that. And so structurally, this is par for the course. There's honestly nothing that concerning in the chart. So yeah, that's ideology. Oh yeah, I was gonna say my average price, average entry was probably around like 20 cents. So 70%. So that would be like next bull. So what happened to me with Knowles is the equivalent of it only going up to 6 cents next bull run, like this. And that's all it does. That's what Knowles did this time. And I bought in after a flash crash, still 70% down. So that could happen. It's already happened to me once. I'm going to hold it for 2 bull markets now. Because, I mean, there's no sense in selling it, you know, because it was from when I was a noob, right? My Knowles. So that's one coin among many I rode all the way down, and I just never decided to. Since I like the staking platform so well, it was very professional, very smooth for even somebody a tech tar like myself. I just decided to leave it in there, even though probably I'll go to 0, but whatever. The near USD Binance chart has more history. How does that change your bottom target? Okay, let's look at near. Well, you might be right. It might change my thoughts on it. I mean, more price history is key. Like, I'm definitely open up. If new information is presented to me, that's significant. I mean, and that new information is good, and the new information goes against, your thoughts. I mean, you need to change your thoughts, or at least consider them more likely to be wrong. I think it's going to hit that wick right here. All right, 65 cents. My second guess. Yeah, that's about right. Would be this 85, 65 and 85. All right, so I just spent on Near Protocol about 10 minutes preparing this chart on a different chart with more price history. Somebody, actually, a really good question. Who the hell was this? Not Slippery Sausage. DCF? Oh, one of my, yeah. So one of my regulars on here. Oh, wow. Does that change your bottom pair market targets? Hey, Ottoman, thank you again. Appreciate that. I don't know if that was you who who had a group of 5,000 people come on one of my live streams and watch it for 20 minutes, but it wasn't bots or very expensive bots. But thank you for everything that you're doing there. DCF. So the question was, yeah. So he asked, hey, you're using a chart with less price history. You have some pretty steep bottom targets. Check out this one. Do your bottom targets change? So here's one, and then we'll go to my other chart of Near and see how different they are. So I used a macro double-decker channel with the idea of thinking that this was the cliff because it was the beginning of price. And I thought, hey, you're in this channel, you're falling off a cliff, you're going to go real low. There's nothing to stop you. So so I probably had lower targets. So here were the targets I had for it. Kind of close. So with new information, 65 and 85 seem a little bit better than these two, but it changes it a little bit. I don't really see 45 anymore as a strong possibility, but yeah, they're still pretty similar. The move down probably, so here's what it changes the most. The move down from here might not be as violent as what I was thinking. For your point, I was looking at a chart with less price history, thinking that this was going to create a violent, like price discovery up, price discovery down. It gets pretty volatile and monodirectionally. So yeah, it might trickle down, which means it probably won't hit the lowest target since it's going to be a slower one. Yeah, 85 is probably a good target. 80, 85 be my guess. That's a great question. So that question essentially challenged how I was doing something, and the challenge was right. I was using the wrong chart. And this chart does provide more information, thus it's better information, and I can come to a better analysis. Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. So Ravencoin, actually, they might not have had an ICO. But yeah, there are a few, projects, a large handful, which are proof of work. And a lot of them are proof of something else. Which, if it's not proof of work, it's essentially proof of stake, proof of delegation, proof of meaningful work, proof of meaningful staking, proof of validation, proof of. They're coming up with all fancy shit, right? But anyway, yeah, pre-mines are not very great. Yeah, so if it had a pre-mine, that's essentially an ICO. It's not quite as bad in terms of being exposed to SEC, but it's not great. I have not done Ether Dixie, so let's go to Ethereum so I can start wrapping this bitch up. Oh, so it popped out of that, rather aggressively. So Bitcoin structurally just got rejected by this line. So that means Ethereum is gaining versus Bitcoin as of the last few days, pretty handedly. Yep. Wow. So that's a big recovery. Wow. Um, will that last? No, it won't. Okay. So this. Okay, back to Ethereum versus the dollar. So I had on here decision time has to happen by December 1st. So yeah, today's December 1st. It's got to make up its mind. Um I don't need these lines anymore. Somebody told me, about one of my live stream recorded videos. You should have this planned out before you do it. Actually, not really. I want you to know what I'm looking at. My whole goal is to do this, um, so you can do it yourself. So taking all this off, in terms of symmetry, I think it needs to go sideways longer. When a shape is this mature, especially this one, like a W or whatever you want to call it, I mean, symmetry usually works like the vast majority of times. That's why I have this red line here. I forgot that's what that is. So the decision time that I deleted, that meant this. It has to make its mind like at this line or before. Technically, it could do it or before. What I would watch out for is this. That would actually probably be a pretty good pickup. And that's the neckline of the whole shape. It looks like what's going to happen. So that's one obvious choice. Come down to, or there are multiple things that could happen after this. But so this is, so getting here, I should delete that. Like this. Okay, that is one option among many. What happens after there is there are also two different options. Does it go up or does it go down from this juncture? If it goes down, the most likely scenario is that it goes up first to get a rejection or a failure pattern above this line and then go down, right? If it goes up from here, well, then it's a lot easier. It will go up from that point, but how does it interact with this line? Does it blast above it, get rejected and from this one, and then use it as support? So after this happens, it could break down, but either way, even if it goes down from here, if the stock market is not tanking, it will come back up and get rejected from that. Even if it eventually goes down to back to, what is that, about $1,000 or something, 1,100, 1157. So, but in the meantime, this is one major thing that could happen. And I just showed you the two things that could happen once this is complete in the next, once the symmetry is complete. Another way this could move. It's just a miniature fake out below this line. And then you go all the way up to the origin line, back off of it, failure, then rejection pattern. I guess I don't have to guess all that, but just in general, I guess that's too elaborate because there are lots of ways it could interact with this. I shouldn't really guess exactly how it'll interact, but it does a mini bump down, goes fairly violently up here, pulls back. It will pull back after that. It could go a little high. Actually, you know what? It's probably going to tap this. It would hit that first, then pull back. And then this would be your second juncture. If that were to happen, once this goes, then you have to realize there are two options, up or down, or technically three, sideways. You just can't go this way. I don't want to assess what would happen after this point because that's when we're getting, the December backfill should be done. And I'm going to concentrate on the stock market to determine what crypto will do afterward. But so all of this should get you through the next 5 days. I think these are the two most likely scenarios. And again, what happens after this scenario and this scenario, I don't know. I don't have enough information to make that guess. I can make 3 guesses, and should this happen, one of those 3 guesses from there will probably be very close to right, but then you're just branching out to too much shit after that. So, oh yeah, and this line here is right. You need this line on your chart. There you go. Boom. Because so I don't think the origin line will get a perfect rejection because there's another massive 2017 horizontal above it. And when you have two resistances really close to each other, after you punch through, like especially just in general, but especially after you either punch through resistance or punch down through a support, you go to the farther one and then pull back when they're too close to each other. Major, they got to be major though. But whenever they're like within 2 to 4%, it almost always hits the farther away one. So that's only 2.5%. It'll hit, yeah. It's not going to get a straight. And if it does get rejected by the origin line, just realize if you're in a short there, which shorting an origin line, when it raises up, it's not a bad, it can work out a lot. But if it does get rejected, just realize I think it's going to hit this line. So if it hits it, it's probably going to pull back and then chart. So that would be a rejection failure pattern, then down. That could happen too. But actually, I think that once it gets above this line, it will race above the origin line and slow down here and then pull back. Yeah, so those are the two shapes I think it'll take over the next 4 to 5 days and all the reasons why. And that's Ethereum. Dixie, I have the best Dixie chart in the entire internet. And here it is. And if you don't believe me, just wait. Watch. You will agree. And if you don't agree, then you are wrong. It's funny because it's true. Okay, so this is what's happening with Dixie. It is in a 12-year or 13-year, almost 14, I guess. A 13-year obvious trading channel with obvious highs, obvious lows, obvious points of control. You will not find this on anybody else's YouTube channel on the whole internet, unless they copied off of me, most likely. I don't think you'll find it, though. This is Dixie. Copy the chart, unless you are a content creator. Seriously, freaking. So I'm on the weekly. I could probably do it on the 5-day. 2-day? 2-day chart? Yep, 2-day chart will get it done. So this is the 2-day chart. So the easiest way to do it is to focus on this part. That gets the point of control. Everything else is perfectly parallel to it. That's it. Start with the point of control, though, if you're going to copy it. All right. And I'm telling you, if you pay attention to this chart, you want it like this. And if you just feel that's too busy, well, then you could put everything in a damn folder, and then just... hide it all. Oh, wait. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to go up here to do that. Huh. All right, now let's zoom into this bad boy. Now that we understand that I have the best Dixie chart on the internet. Undeniably. 1035 has to be hit. Actually, I haven't confirmed that. Did it use this as resistance? Yes, it had. Yeah, so 1035 has to be hit. It can go as high as this before it hits it. It can hit a 45-degree angle to, if you do a prairie dog, go above Earth. So here's underground on the tunnels. Go above the resistance. Peek above. Now look left. That's the local high at 45-degree angle. Projector tool. Because it went below the it's not an origin line, but same kind of rules. And below it, use it as resistance, has not touched the next one down. That's as high as it can go. It won't go above there. All right. With a high likelihood. Does it have permission? Does it have permission? No, it doesn't. Can it? Is it possible? Yes. Just like if you have a 98% chance of living during birth control. So a lot of it's like 99%. I mean, it still happens. Here's a joke. You might not like this joke during a Dixie formal. I'm even dressed nicely, but whatever. The only birth control that is a 100% deal is when a guy wears socks with sandals. Only way. When I heard that joke, I thought it was funny. I've remembered it. There you go. I've already drawn from Discord community back here. So I did this a couple days ago, what I thought it would do. Yeah, it's going to hit there. How it behaves there, I don't know, but you're almost definitely, like, it's very, very likely going to bounce. But does it charge up and out? Does it stay sideways for 2 years? Like, how long did it go sideways here? Look. I don't know. It doesn't look very long, but I bet it's like 5 years or something like that. Nope, it's only 2 years. So that's 2 years, almost 800 days. You know, so you might not like the idea. It could go up, could go down, could go sideways. But I mean, with this, sideways, it might be the best freaking thing to guess. Or slideways. Just get stuck in this channel. Why? Because it's the most prominent portion of this 12-year channel. Second, it already spent 2 years sliding in it. No pun or innuendos intended with that. Sounds like you're describing being 2 years into marriage. It's horrible. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, yeah, so I would have to reassess after that point. I don't want to make guesses how it behaves directly after that. Outside of it does bounce from there. It might not bounce very high, and then it might go under it, use it as resistance, and come down here. I really don't know. That would not be my first guess. I think I would guess slideways or some consolidation, get above, slide on this for a while, and then go up. Those would be my two guesses. So kind of like, actually, this might be, how long is this sideways? How long is that accumulate? It's only 42 days. That might be long enough. Yeah. This is kind of like an abbreviated version. I think if I had to redraw this, I would make this section about the same, but I would copy this and put it on top of here and then join that. Oh, and so it'd be like, actually, I'll just show you. More consolidation on top. And it might have to do it twice. How long is that? That's almost a year. And that hits a 45-degree angle. And that's a little too high. That's too big of a failure pattern. Right there. Where's the weekly 21? This might change my analysis a little bit. Hold on. Ooh, it went below it. I didn't expect it to go below it that drastically. So went below it. The yellow line hit the top of it, hit the top of the point of control, then hit the top of the channel. Went below it, hit the bottom of the channel. Got rejected. Okay, so I would use the weekly 21 in conjunction with this. So what you're going to be able to do is, if this one guess is wrong, which it has a very good chance of being wrong. I just made one single guess, right? And I'm not a whale, and I can't, I'm not a big bank who can even influence this at nothing. So what I would do to figure out, hey, so from now till about 60 days, I'm probably going to be right. But like, very likely. It's just an easy analysis, right? With the way this is. Like I said, I have the best Dixie chart you will find. No other person is going to have a nicer, cleaner, more accurate chart. I think. And if you do find them, share that person. I would love to see who would, I like to learn from other people. Anyway, so, but this weekly 21 here, look at this. That's where I would start being wrong. If it gets stuck under here and driven down. But until this weekly 21 is crunching down on price, which is essentially a negative pressure squeeze play, a bearish squeeze. It's not necessarily a squeeze, but it's getting squeezed between a straight line and an EMA, kind of a squeeze down. Until that happens, though, this is almost exactly what's gonna. This is by far the best guess of what's gonna happen over the next 2 months. If I had to do a second guess, the second most probable thing still hits this, then busts out, and then comes down and goes to like at this point without all this consolidation. That would be my second guess. So yeah, it would hit here, go above, then use it as support, which is pretty similar, but that means it gets above the yellow line more quickly, right? I just don't think it's going to happen at first pass. I think it's going to come up to 106 and change exactly as this is coming down, and it's going to get rejected. And if it's going to go above it, it will be the second pass, which means it has to go sideways 60 days. Because we already know it's going to hit this line. And it's probably not going to go above until the yellow line is here, based off history. And it's going to charge up almost exactly timing because when two important lines cross, is this an important line? Yeah. It might be the second, tied for the first most important line on this chart over the last 12 years. Is the weekly 21 important? Hell yeah. So when two important lines cross, what effect does it have on price usually? Like over 51% of over 50% of the time. It sucks price into it. It can suck price down into it, or it can suck price up into it, depending on its orientation to price. So that's why at that exact moment, like I think it's going to hit the line very close to where I have it, because I have a timer. It will be, if it does it, it'll probably be pretty close. So right now, my analysis is saying that it's going to go, it's not going to make all-time highs for over a year. I don't see it happening. I think it has to get back. I think it's got to get rejected from the lower high area, then come down and consolidate, and then try it. Hey, I'll call you. Can I call you back in about 5 minutes? At this number? All right, perfect. Bye. Okay. Oop, I forgot to hit stop recording. Somebody told me to get a shrink, so I called a shrink. No, I'm just joking. That was one of the comments on my channel. Get a shrink. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's cold outside. I'm already shrunk enough. No. There is still a chance, though, that the volatility play, because of the market, it is possible that it does just go straight up to 1. The chart does not read that. That is, but not my main guess. However, if I'm wrong, which, again, there's a good chance past 60 days that I am wrong, that is one way I could be wrong. Because it does have the habit of, being like volatile to the downside, then doing another thing. But in this case, I don't think so, because it didn't bounce off the top of the point of control. It's at the bottom, and it has the yellow coming charging on it. So it's going to be similar to what happened here back in 2017. So what's happening with Dixie right now is extraordinarily similar to where it was from in July 2017. And what's about ready to happen will be just like this, but zooming into this portion, this 5 or 6 month area. So right now, Bitcoin is here. Where it could deviate is here. So first pass, it's not going to get above this damn thing. It's going to come up, hit this line roughly at the same time it crosses. Here it was a little after, okay, whatever. I'm guessing it's going to happen exactly at the same time. So yellow comes over here. But anyway, roughly at the same time, it won't pass it at first pass, has to come back down, and then the second time it will go. I don't know if it'll repeat. So all of this should be about the same, and it should hit the bottom line again, and it should come up to the yellow line a second time. But that's where the big question mark comes into play. Which way does it go? Well, at that point, you don't need to guess. Why? Because you can go to the 5-minute and 30-minute candles and figure out how is it interacting with that line. Is it generally above it or generally below it? Well, regardless of closures, if the 5-minute candles are generally above it for a 3-day period, it's probably going to go up. You're going to be able to tell. So it doesn't matter guessing here. It will be obvious. right? So can I zoom in on this, like on some time frame like the 4 hour? Or even like the 1 hour? Will it let me? I don't think I can go that far back on. Let's try the 2 hour. I want to show you this. Watch. Like, it was obvious. I'm telling you. And it's probably going to be obvious again. Yes. All right. Perfect. Okay. So the very first pass already assumed that it's going to hit this and come down because it's not going to pass both of these on its first try. Just not how it works typically. So here. This is what we're focused on. This is the weekly 21 EMA, one of the main tools you need on your Dixie chart. Was this obvious that it was going to go down? Did it make a pattern? Something I've said probably 8 to 10 times on this live stream about resistances on other coins, including Bitcoin. One of my favorite ways to get rejected, which I've covered literally 5 times on this now 2.5 hour stream. Rejection, failure pattern. Super obvious. It's almost perfect. It's not quite perfect. It would have been more perfect had this wick been here exactly. So the 3-minute candles might have been a little tricky here because it did blast up through it, went below it, blasted up through it again, and then tanked. So, but on this time frame, it was obvious. On the 3-minute, exactly at this moment in time, which I can't use the 3-minute anymore for this, but because it's too far back, but it probably wasn't that obvious. I'll give you that. But on the 1 hour, 2 hour, and above, very, very obvious. Rejection, failure pattern, done. Right? And you will have this in about 60 days on Dixie. Like, this situation is going to happen. It is a question of when, not if. And it's probably going to happen within 60 to 80 days. Maybe 50 to 80 days. Could happen a little sooner. There you go. That's Dixie. Yeah, so slippery sausage, the whole proof of meaningful work, the proof of stake, the proof of consensus. I don't know how all that's going to go, but if it had an ICO and it's not proof of work with using electricity in large amounts of it, it's all going to be the same. Those fancy words, proof of, it's not going to matter. If the team created coins and kept some for their use and sold to investors, and had investors come in after that, it had an ICO, period. So that's how I would do the deal breaker on the weird words. But yeah, it's a good thing you brought that up because I really don't know how it would work. But whatever's going to happen, the SEC is going to go after easier targets. They're going to win the next one. They're not, and if they feel they can't win, they won't do it. So that's also a possibility as well. They might feel that it's not worth going after it a second time, but I already know. Like, I don't know for a fact because I'm not there, but man, I've been saying ever since XRP looked like it was going to win or even have a chance to back in last September, last year or the year before. I don't even know at this point. It's been so long. I've been saying, man, well, since they got embarrassed, they're going to come back and they're going to pick four. They're probably going to pick 4 cryptos. They're going to go after, and Ethereum might be one. I don't think that shit's immune. Now that it's proof of stake, honestly, that could be the option. Because if they can take out Ethereum or attack it and at least find the shit out of it, even if they, it would create a clean sweep on crypto. Like, Ethereum would hit $200. Bitcoin probably not. You'd probably have a flight to Bitcoin. Bitcoin would go down at first, though, obviously. But a month later, you could find Bitcoin at like 60, 80K real quick. If you have a flight to safety into Bitcoin, which happens at the beginning of bull runs, that's people will buy Bitcoin first. You should too. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that could go down. Anyway. So I have to get out of here. Hey, thanks for the super chats, everybody. Again, if you want me to address your question a little bit earlier or faster or whatever, you're going to want to click the join. So click the join button that's right below here, and $6 are instantly taken from you. And I'm just kidding. A video will pop up telling you what the tiers are about. And then links to the Discord community are down below. You can always join as a free person, as a free member. Even if you've never joined Discord before, I recommend you do that. I do post some things that are pretty valuable in the bear market for my free members only. So you'll get, my members only. I probably only ping them 3 times a month, 4 times a month. So it's not like joining a server on a free thing where you're just getting all these stupid ass alerts all the time. For my members only, or the free members, it's rare because I'm not going to give you a lot of free stuff, right? But I do some things. So feel free to check that out, and because I'll put some Easter eggs in there for free members. Like, hey, I'm going to give this to you too because I care. But other than that, we will see you next Tuesday. I almost forgot what day of the week it is. We'll see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. New York. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 6